This is the Three Skeevers podcast.
All right, episode 39 of the Three Skeevers podcast with Grim from Grimsforge Gaming and myself, Icy with Icyfire Gaming. How you doing, Grim?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. We have a special guest today, Mr. CapnCrunch. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome. So before we jump into talking about a whole bunch of stuff today, if Captain, can you give us a summary or what you do on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, my channel is all Elder Scrolls online content, mostly Nightblade. I've got a lot of videos like how to burst combo, how to use your shade properly, as well as like some silly gank videos and kind of just stuff like that. Challenges. I do a lot of different challenges. My last video I did ganking people with no weapons equipped, which was pretty cool. I had like 2,000 weapon damage. So, I mean, I like to do things like that.
So for that one, are you just punching people the whole time or something, or like
No, I was
ambush into a surprise attack punch?
Yeah, I was using like class abilities, light weaving punches. So, like, I was using in cap, still hitting like 10k in caps, by the way, with no weapons equipped, which is pretty good. But yeah, just light weaving punches. I actually had a 1v1 in that video with a fully geared Stam DK, and I beat him at the end there. Which is pretty cool.
Jesus Christ, I'd hate to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the guy you stood over and threw punches at the end?
Yeah, I made sure to stand
let
on
him
top
know.
of him. I made sure to stand on top of him afterwards and throw like some air punches so he knew that I was unarmed.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, you need to send that raw footage to Dr. Gankenstein. He could do a super funny Street Fighter,
Yeah, that would be great.
montage with it.
Yeah, get some sound effects like Hadouken and all that
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. Ready, fight.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Cool. So this week it's been a bit crazy. I know for me, I was on kind of vacation, hanging out with my parents and stuff, so I've just been logging in and doing my writs most of the time. But I know for the rest of you guys, almost everyone, at least in the Discord for us content creators here in the Grimsforge Gaming channel, a lot of people have been playing New World. So let's talk about that for a bit. What do you guys think overall?
So far I like it. There's I don't know if it's gonna fill the Elder Scrolls Online void that I have, but it's definitely better than any of the other MMOs that I've played recently, at least.
Yeah. I think that ESO combat is going to be very fast, much faster than New World combat, but New World combat seems to be more skill based, like directionally where you're aiming. Like if you're aiming a musket or a bow or a staff, you have to hit your target, and that's part of the thing, is actually connecting and making contact on the ranged attacks. So that's something. I do think they need to figure out a lot of people just run. Like as soon as combat, they're flagged for PvP, and the second PvP starts, they're like, "Oh hell no!" and they just take off running, and everyone moves at the same speed. So there's very few abilities in the game that give you like a speed boost or speed buff. So you find yourself just like running and pacing them, and trying to catch them just to kill them. And so that's kind of a thing that we'll have to figure out.
If I just keep running, maybe I'll bore you with the chase and you'll leave me alone.
Yeah. Oh,
well, we chased a guy for probably 10 minutes the other day, and then couldn't catch him. And then eventually he just got back to town, and then he was immune to damage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's what they do, is they just know which direction town is and just run. Run. So yeah. So that's kind of a thing.
Do you get like a rear view camera so you can see if anyone is still chasing you? Because I would think the moment when I try to swing around to just look behind me, it's gonna slow me down like an inch, which is gonna get you closer and closer to me.
I didn't notice if there was one or not. I had a group chasing me, and I just kept running until they stopped shooting their muskets, and then I turned around and
until you stop hearing the
Yeah.
bullets flying by and the arrows flying by.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think something else that's a little different too is the bar swapping. So when you're equipping a weapon, Captain and I were kind of messing around with this when he was kicking my butt dueling. Um, when you're switching weapons on the bar swap, it's not as quick as, like, say, ESO. Like an ESO, you could go from one weapon, bar swap, the back bar weapons are now in your hand. You're going. You can even be holding block in ESO and bar swap, and you'll only drop block for a millisecond as you switch, right? And you're ready for combat. But in this one, you'll literally have to unsheath your sword or pull your axe off your back. And so figuring out how to animation cancel, what abilities will animation cancel some of these unsheathing and, you know, battle ready, that's something that we were kind of playing around with. He has a slick, Captain has a slick combo with sword and board into two-handed axe, and he was super successful with that. I think he cut my head off like 50 times. So
Yeah, the axe, when you pull it out, he does kind of like a twirl animation with the axe. And so I figured out a way to cancel it. If you, what I was doing to Grim was on my sword and board bar, I was knocking him down with shield bash, and then if you hold block and bar swap, he doesn't do the twirl animation. You can go straight into a two-handed execute in the axe, which was pretty strong.
yeah, there was no time for me to get out of the way. So, and I think the scaling on that was like what, a 400% attack. So
Yeah, it's like 300 or 400% if you're below 50% health. So that pretty much one shots like most people, I guess.
yeah, that was a really nice combo. So figuring out like those little things, I think ESO's been out for so long that you kind of start taking that stuff for granted, like all these little tips and tricks and shortcuts you've learned along the way, and now here's a new game in front of us and we're trying to figure those things out. Like I've um another thing that Captain and I ran into was when I had the life staff equipped, which is the equivalent of a resto staff, right? And ESO. A lot of the healing abilities on the life staff are kind of either a targeted AoE, like you target it on the ground. So you have to select where you're going to drop it, and then you have to select to actually drop it, right? So it takes that little extra click just to get a heal going. And meanwhile, somebody with a two-hand axe is just hack, so there was that. Another thing too
Oh,
is
quick comment on that one, Grim.
uh
So ESO works the same way with that, but we have the option to quick cast
Yeah.
that
yes,
ability. So is
and we
that?
don't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they don't have it yet. We were looking for that. So that was part of the problem. Also, another thing too is when you first initiate where you want to select to drop that at, like that heal on the ground, until you hit the button the second time, if you're hit during that between the first click and the second click, you're stunned or staggered. And so that was a problem when you got three abilities on your life staff bar, and all three of them need to be selected where to put and then initiated. And so there's a large window of time frame that you can be staggered or stunned while you're trying to heal. And so, but I did find out that there's a thing called grit, and it is in the life staff. Most skill lines, weapon skill lines, have access to somewhere on the skill tree a thing called gain grit, and grit will prevent you or give you some resistance to stagger or stun. And so I did find that on the life staff bar, and so I thought maybe it might be interesting to go back and revisit to see if they're as um, ineffective, under pressure when grit is up. I can still get everything off. Um, Still taking damage, but we can at least get the heals off. So thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult for you to cast your heals when I was just spamming the two-handed axe on you, I think.
Yeah, she was just hacking me up to little bits. Um,
So can you is there like a not like a channeled, but can you interrupt people doing their stuff, or no? Or
Not
does
that
it
I've
slow
noticed.
you? Does it like slow you down in some way, maybe?
I noticed that when he flanks me, or if you flank an enemy and you hit him from behind, it'll add a slow to them. But I don't know if that was more so a component of the stagger, like the 30% slow or 20% slow, whatever it was. I wasn't able to pull away from him in that time frame. I was actually walking really slow. It might be attached to the stagger. So I don't know. We'll have to play around with that a little bit. I think we have until, what's the date that the beta runs through?
This second, I think.
Yeah. So I want to play around with that and kind of see. I did like, so Christopher ESO, a lot of content creators, like you said, Icy, are checking out New World. And one of the things that actually, I just saw, Captain, you were talking to someone this morning, maybe Fragman saw about this, but lag hasn't been really bad for as many people are running around in the game. You
No, I
guys,
mean, performance is great. I'm getting over 100 FPS. I have a 3070 graphics card, but to compare with the exact same graphics card in Cyrodiil, I'm getting, maybe 30 FPS.
right?
And then in New World, I was getting well over 100 FPS, 120, I think.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. That has to do with like mega servers versus what, regional servers, something to that's a thing too, right? Performance wise.
Well, so I was talking with Imp, I think maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, and I guess he was attributing it to those Amazon web servers, And I was thinking, well, I guess maybe frickin' Zoss should have sold the whole kit and caboodle to Amazon and not Microsoft.
Well, yeah,
Right.
there's
But
that meme that like Cyrodiil is on some dude's like computer under his desk at ZeniMax, which is probably the truth, right? That's where
Yeah.
Cyrodiil lives.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's funny.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Is there no one else just released a video a day or so ago, and it was kind of talking about his thoughts on Blackwood currently? Obviously, damage, we're in damage meta. Damage is very high right now. Bombers are a problem. Night blades are hitting super hard from stealth. It gives you, limited counterplay. And but at the 19-minute 3-second mark, he kind of sums up the whole video. And the whole video is the overcorrection of changes. We go from dots were super crazy and they were killing everyone, and dots were out of control, to they nerfed dots so badly that dots were ultra ineffective on every single class and every single play style. And he used an example of that, and he just named a couple, like far left turn, then far right turn, far left turn, far right turn. And he summarized it with, what's the point? What's the point in even farming gear or trying to build for the new far right turn or the far left turn when the game just doesn't work? You can't break free. You can't bar swap. I'm trying to use an ultimate and it's just not working. Abilities aren't firing. And to sum it up, he just said performance. Well, where are we at with performance? Performance was supposed to be our primary goal, our primary everything. And he's like, in the last 2 years, the game has just progressively got worse and worse performance wise. So I don't want to, let's not talk about the changes that we're going to be making to the game. Let's talk about performance. Is this happening or not? So thought that was very interesting.
So Grim, I think last week's podcast we spoke about it a little bit, how, with all the changes and stuff, like what's the point of farming for gear and everything. And I guess my point still stands with the whole collection system. How if you got all your ducks in a row, then you're kind of prepared no matter what. Because if they make one set obsolete, no harm, no foul for me, because I can just return my crystals and just try another set that I got, and then I'll be back in business right again. No expenses, no expense for me. So, but not I guess that really just comes down to like how prepared you are. But equally, should we even have to make those changes? And I know I made a reference to League of Legends where, yeah, they make changes all the time, but their game is a lot different than ours. You don't have to farm hours on end running 20, 30, 40, 50 dungeon runs trying to get a Draugr Hulk bow or whatever. And, where compared to League of Legends, you just got to play for 20 minutes in a match and you can get the new gear or try the new build that you want and you're good. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I left a message. I commented on that video and I just said, I can't wait. So we're getting an extra, what, 10% damage mitigation from Battle Spirit passive now?
44% to 55%, I think was the official number.
So 11%. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So we're getting an extra 11% damage mitigation from Battle Spirit passive. And then they've added Ironclad to the CP tree. So you can get another 10% damage mitigation to direct damage attacks, which most of the heaviest hitting abilities in the game are direct damage attacks. The ones that are going to chunk your life are direct damage. And I said, so I can't wait to get my 10% from Ironclad, my 11% from Battle Spirit passive, and my 10% from slotting Revealing Flare. And then Captain was like, oh, and don't forget the vampire,
Stage
30%,
3. Yeah,
stage 3
30%.
vampire. And I was like, I have to do all this just because I can't break free.
And then
So,
put on your pariah for your extra 10k resist at low health.
oh yeah, the minor, yeah, too. You could pick up minor protection from somewhere, I'm sure. So,
It sounds to me like they're just trying to passively nerf Nightblades without officially saying they are, right? Because Nightblades are all direct damage. And also now there's going to be a 50-man Zerg running around with Revealing Flare. Nightblade's not going to be able to do anything like in the area. As soon as one's spotted, you can have just a Zerg of people throwing Flare around.
yeah. And here's something too. I don't know if so I was on Dan Unified Gaming. He was streaming yesterday, and we were chatting in his chat while he was doing Battlegrounds and stuff, and we were talking about Nightblade. So Nightblades are going to be able to take damage over time or dot damage now. So currently, when you hit Shadowy Disguise, it suppresses all damage over time effects, right? You'll see at the bottom under your character, it'll just say miss, 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 miss and so you're not taking that damage over time effect anymore, currently, but they're changing it to where you will take damage over time, but you can still stealth. So it won't break your stealth, but you're also melting, and I was like, so you're gonna have to, and it's not like Stamina Nightblade's healing kit is impressive. You've got your Vigor burst heal, and or not Vigor, you got your Rally burst heal on most builds, and you've got your Vigor, right? And that's pretty much it. And if you were to compare that healing kit to a Stam Crow, a Stammed, and most other classes, even Stamplars now, right? Stamplars gained a hot standing in their defensive room. A Stamina Nightblade healing kit is less, and I'm like, do you think that that's going to be problematic? Now people can find you all over the place, and even though they're saying less things will break Shadowy Disguise, though less things will break Cloak, but everybody and their mother is going to be running around with Revealing Flare, and if you get dots on you, congratulations, you can stealth just fine and it won't break. But the second you pop a Vigor you can
Yeah.
pop Rally, and not breaks, but the second you pop Vigor, because you're taking so much dot damage, so what are your thoughts on all of that?
So let me just throw this one in too, and then I'll throw it to Captain. So do you guys think it's a net negative in terms of all the changes, like for Nightblade in particular, with all
Oh,
the stuff to
absolutely.
stealth? So net
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah, even though like certain Yeah, I think ground effects, stuff like that is not going to pull you out of stealth anymore. It's still like just like Grim said, if you've got a massive dot on you, you've got to cast a vigor. That's going to pull you out of stealth anyway. Or you could just crawl into a corner and die, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like Nightblades are getting in a little bit rough this patch for sure. And I'm probably biased because I main a Nightblade, but I mean, the stealth is going to be worse than it is. At least maybe it'll work because right now when you try to stealth, it just doesn't work. If you've got a group behind you, like stealth is supposed to cloak you for 3 seconds. But if you've got like a Zerg behind you, you're trying to stealth, the eye will literally close and then reopen instantly. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
latency related or what, but stealth just does not work at the moment.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be a good thing as far as it's going to be easier for us to cloak, but at the same time, I think also I might be wrong, but it sounded like any projectile that was in the air, like crystal frag or something. Right now, when you cloak, it'll miss, but it sounded like it was still going to hit you after you were stealthed if it was already traveling.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that means that dodge rolling is going to be super valuable. So everybody get your Crusader. Oh, wait, they changed Crusader. Yeah, you can't dodge roll. So you can dodge roll with Crusader, but you're not going to get the double dodge roll window. So um yeah. And another thing that's like currently going on with Stealth 2 is you could be cloaked or be hidden. And let's say you're just over here to the right somewhere. I don't even know you're there. But if I pan my camera over that way and I just spam my gap closer, I'll just gap close to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So whenever I'm fighting a Nightblade, I'll just spam my gap closer and it doesn't matter if he's stealth, hidden, or whatever, it just goes to them, you know. Yep. So that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, because we have gap closer spamming issues anyway. So when you're trying to cloak, people are just going to keep spamming that, and I I think that's probably going to have to change because that's
Yeah.
just not going to work, right?
Yeah. We were talking about that too, and he was like, on the lines of fixing a Nightblade's healing kit. So many people complain about shadowy disguise. Well, if shadowy disguise is not going to work effectively next patch, could you at least address Dark Cloak and make that a viable heal? Because I'll run around on a 30k health build and it still be only an 800, 800 hot. And
Yeah,
there are people with 3 and 4k vigor ticks in ESO. Why do I gotta work with just an 800 hot?
which doesn't make sense because they nerfed that last patch for absolutely no reason.
Right.
Do,
I mean, I know they nerfed Warden's heals too, but everybody knows that like Warden's heals are still overpowered.
Hmm.
So there was
Yeah.
really no reason for them to nerf that cloak heal.
Right.
what would be a nice health tick for the Dark Cloak to make it more competitive, you think?
Probably a 1200, right? At least minimum. Like, what's your radiating regen hitting people for, Icy?
So the tooltip for PvP is about, I think, 28. Well, on a say my Argonian Warden, 28k, and that's
Mhm.
about, with after the battle spirit calculations, it's usually around like 1500. So honestly, anything over 1,000 is a solid tick for me.
Yeah. So I feel like that's where we're missing. We're at 800, 900 right now, and we at least need to be 1,000 to 1,200 to even be kind of a viable heal. Dan had a really cool idea. He said, why don't you make it function to where when you activate it, it just starts that hot. It has a total duration time frame that the heal over time would equate to. And if you activate it a second time, you'll get that burst heal up front, instead of a heal over time. Or not quite the full heal, because a lot of people will just hit it twice and use it as a burst heal all the time, right? But
So, do you want it to function like Riley, or do you want it to function like the it's not corrupting pollen, but the other morph to the Warden's ability, where
that,
if you double cast it, it will burst heal instead.
yeah, that right there. And so it's worth the expense to get the burst heal out of it, right? So
But you just said that people would just be double tapping instead, and you
if
said you didn't want that.
if resources permit, I guess if they're going to spend double it to get it back. I don't know. I just know that it needs to be looked at for sure because I feel like Stamina Nightblade's healing kits are lacking and we're having so many problems with stealth. So
So, since I think it does scale with max health, right?
Mhm.
It does, yeah.
So you want a competitive hot, we'll say 1,000 or 1,200. What is the base max health for that number then? Like, are we talking like a 30k health Nightblade or like a 25k or a 20k Nightblade? When do you want that competitive hot to be equivalent to, something, well, not equivalent. We'll just say competitive hot, like 1,200. What
Maybe
max
it
health do
shouldn't.
you want?
Maybe it shouldn't scale off health then.
Right.
I don't know. It could scale off weapon and spell damage or something instead, or max resource.
Yeah, max resource would be kind of cool because if you're stacking weapon damage, a lot of the weapon damage stacking sets, New Moon, Clever Alchemist, whatever those are, they they aren't heavy max stat, they're not heavy max stat. So it would prevent people from putting two weapon damage. If it stacks off weapon damage, they'll put two weapon damage sets on and they'll have just a crazy heal. So
I feel like the Nightblade tanks would hate you then if you switched it from max health to something else, whether it be resources or weapon and spell.
Yeah, but how many? I mean, really, how many people play Nightblade tank?
I mean, I know it's a thing in PvE, probably not as popular, but it's definitely there. So,
yeah,
but equally, you do have healers and PvE content, so I guess it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Well,
yeah,
there could also be a morph that could scale off max resource, like the DK has, right? They have a what's it? Coagulating blood scales off max health, and then the other morph scales off max resource. You could do something like that. People would have
yeah,
a choice.
I guess, Grim, this kind of goes back to the discussion from like 10, 15, 20 episodes ago where we just need more morphs in the game.
yeah,
Maybe like a third morph that would kind of give us something that we could use. Or we'll say this, right? We'll have three morphs, right? We'll keep Shadowy Disguise as one, and then the base morph will be scales with, uh, we'll say, we'll say max resources, or yeah, we'll say max resources, and then with the third morph, it'll just be what Dark Cloak is now, scales of max health, or
yeah.
the base one will be weapon and spell.
Yeah. What do you, Captain, how do you, if someone asked you to compare ESO PvP versus New World PvP, what would you tell them?
I would honestly tell them that ESO PvP is a lot better. Probably, it's a lot more fluid. It's a lot faster. Um, I feel like ESO's PvP though has a what do you call it? Like a um, steeper. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a steeper skill. It takes more practice to be better at ESO PvP than it does for New World, in my opinion, because of the
Yeah.
light weaving, because of all the various skills, especially on Nightblade, where you have to light weave properly to get the bow proc, stuff like that.
So, I'll follow up now. So, obviously, you guys have been playing for about a week now, and I know in Warframe, there's like a funny little video where Warframe, like your first 100 days in Warframe, and then it goes like 1, 20, 40, day 70, day 100, right? And you see the progression from barely being able to bullet jump or not even know what it is, and just like bumping in the walls constantly, versus day 100, now you are a ninja, you are unseen by all the NPCs, and you can get in and out of like any place within like a quarter of a second, right? And that's because you've been practicing and learning over those last 100 days. So your comment is based on 1 week of play. What do you think? Like, do you think it's gonna change so much? We'll say the beta was gonna last like 3 more months, right? So you do get to that 100-day mark of playing New World every single day till then. Do you think it's going to stay consistent with what you said, or is it going to be, whoa, this game is actually a lot of fun, and because of that 100-day practice, now people have discovered other ways to light attack, weave, or animation cancel, or some other crazy trick?
Yeah, so I think that like I said, I think that ESO PvP is a lot harder to learn. I'm trying to think back to my first week in ESO PvP, and I'm pretty sure I was absolutely terrible.
Hmm.
And then my first week here in New World PvP, I feel like I'm decent, competitive, and it might be because I've had a lot of experience in ESO PvP, and that kind of relate. But I feel like the learning curve is a lot steeper for ESO than it is for New World, just because of the light attack system, pretty much.
So what about, we'll say reverse, right? Pretend you've been playing New World for the same amount of time you've been playing ESO, and then you try ESO for the first time. You think that still stands?
Yeah, I still think that the learning curve for ESO is much higher, just simply because of the light attack weaving, animation canceling, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
There is a difference too. In New World, you've got 3 abilities on your bar, and they are actually on a global cooldown. And then your back bar has 3 abilities, and they're on a global cooldown. So at most, you got 6 abilities, right? In ESO, you've got 6 abilities just on your front bar alone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, and they're not on global cooldowns per se. Like if you wanted to spam them, you could, and that's why the light attack and figuring out where and when to land a heavy attack to get resources back in the tank. And you could run the tank out, really quickly in ESO if you just spam all your abilities really quickly and go. Spamming abilities in New World isn't, I could hit all 3 of my abilities back to back on my front bar, and now I'm just sitting and waiting, waiting for what? And so I have to go to my back bar. Now I got those 3 abilities to use. So if I use those 3 abilities, well, now I can go back to my front bar. So the combat pace is way different too. I think just because ESO's combat is much faster paced, that takes a different learning curve. I said that New World is higher skill set PvP, but it's more so uh, you have to hit your target, whereas tab targeting and things like that in ESO help out, with landing on a particular and smart aiming and things like that. But there's still there's so many more abilities, and you don't have global cooldowns on them, and you can put a combinations together using 3 or 4 different abilities. It's just different animal, right? It's like trying to compare apples to oranges right now.
Yeah, I feel like um, in New World, you kind of just cast all 3 of your abilities, spam light attack a little bit, go to your back bar, cast all 3 of your abilities, spam light attack a little bit, and then just rinse and repeat. It seems a lot easier to me. You can dodge around, wait for your cooldowns. It's just I feel like it's just the light weaving in ESO that makes everything so fluid for me.
So when I was talking with Imp the other day, he actually told me not necessarily the opposite, but he said that your abilities are not on global cooldowns, but your light attacks are. And then he kind of explained it for like a couple minutes, but I guess we'll have to just have a conversation with him afterward and
Yeah.
just get the just confirm what exactly is going on, because I know he was definitely saying that yesterday. So
Yeah, the various skills in New World have different cooldowns. Some of them I've noticed are shorter, like 5 seconds, and that's like if you are throwing a spear or something. and then or
Oh,
throwing an
okay.
axe. Yeah, and then there's other ones that like the heals, the big damage attacks, the executes, stuff like that. They have like a 20-second cooldown for all the abilities.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
your
that
light
makes
and heavy
sense.
attacks work very similar to ESO. If you want a light attack, you just tap the light attack button. You want a heavy attack, hold the light attack button down, and he'll swing a heavy attack, So,
Is
If
there
I
a
was
medium
gonna,
attack in there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If I was gonna compare the combat in New World to any other game, it would probably be Conan Exiles. I don't know if you guys have played that before, but feels very similar to me, especially when you have like a two-handed axe.
I wonder, think about this. Do you guys remember when ESO, when Zoss was contemplating adding global cooldowns to abilities? Would that
Oh, I can't
combat,
stand that.
yeah, would that combat be just like what we're playing right now on New World?
Probably.
Yeah,
It's the reason why I don't like Final Fantasy, the Final
yeah.
Fantasy MMO, is because all the abilities have global cooldowns. I can't stand that. I want to be able to cast my skill when I want it, right? I don't want to have to wait.
Isn't it kind of like WoW, Final Fantasy?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
think it's action combat though, isn't it? But
yeah,
skills have global cooldowns.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so it's similar.
yeah. In Final Fantasy, you can tab target a character too, and you're literally locked into them. So while you're strafing around them or moving around the battlefield, you're always looking at them in their direction. So that's a thing too. But um, yeah, and lots of abilities. Both WoW and Final Fantasy, you have tons of abilities, and some of them are, you know, as less impactful than others. So there's that, where you only got 3 abilities in New World, and all 3 of them, you need to make sure all 3 of them bring something to the table, because you're there's a cooldown after you use it. So yeah. So let's talk ESO. Let's talk your
Okay. One more thing before we go to ESO.
Mhm.
After the beta is finished and New World officially launches, are you guys gonna make the switch? What's the game plan for that?
I'm not going to switch full time. No, I'll play New World, maybe here and there, but it's not going to be my main game. No.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same mindset. Yeah, I know Christopher ESO said the same thing. He said, I don't know if this will supplement ESO completely. And you have to take into account the time invested in ESO and stuff too, but it really kind of depends on if the game is working or not. So I 100% see myself not being able to break free in a fight that I should be able to break free, and dying and logging out immediately and going over to New World, you know, uh, to be honest. So if ESO is not working and Dawnbreakers aren't working and abilities aren't working, and I can't take flight still and I can't bar swap, I will go do something less stressful where I've only got 3 abilities on my bar and I have to wait for a global cooldown to use abilities, but everything works. So that's my 2 cents.
Let's
Yeah.
hope that the new game actually makes it so the ZeniMax gets in and fixes PvP. If they see people that are moving over to New World, maybe they'll have more motivation to try and fix Cyrodiil, so people will come back and play.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to think, I mean, Zoss is sitting back going, we're the superior product. We've been out for 7 years. We have more than 3 abilities on my bar, and they're on our bars, and they're not global cooldowned, and we're super deep. If we're not even talking PvP related, like end game to style to housing to whatever, there's a lot going for ESO. Um, they they need to just, we've had this conversation before, they need to just stop everything that they're doing with proposed changes and this, that, and the other, and just fix the game. So they just need to fix the things that aren't working properly.
Yeah. I mean that comment in the PTS notes where they were talking about how the break free glitch or whatever you want to call it is actually being addressed with the desyncs and stuff. So it sounds like, I know we've been vocal about it for months, but it sounds like they're actually doing something. So there's hope there.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I know I'm not pre-ordering. I'm not even going to play the beta for New World, but I think because I've been burned too many times already with these developers, Godfall being one of them, Anthem. Oh man, I
Oh
wanted
man, I loved Godfall.
dude, man, I wanted Anthem to work so bad, and then Godfall, it seemed cool to start, and then oh man, there was just so many problems, and
Yeah.
I was very disappointed when I pre-ordered those games, and they wound up not being as fun as I wanted it to be with all the problems and everything. So I am certainly not going to pre-order New World as much as you guys are having fun and everything right now. I'll probably wait 2 to 3 months afterwards and see what the reviews say and whatever, and then I'll hop in if you guys are all you know um, charging up and stuff, and it's actually proving to be I see we need like support over here, man. Like you're missing out. This is a hell of fun. So that's probably when I'll decide to come over. But until then, I'll be doing my Ritz and Eleanor every day till then.
It
Yeah.
has been a lot of fun with the group of 4 or 5 of us running around. We call it zerging, even though it's not zerging, but we run around and zerg down some solo players, and it's kind of trolly and it's funny and it's been fun. But and I haven't noticed any huge bugs except for there's a bug with the bar swapping at the moment where it doesn't show your abilities right when you bar swap. But
Hey, Fragman Saul showed me how to fix that.
oh, okay,
So
so there's a
yeah,
fix for it.
it's a workaround, or it's you just go into the settings and there's another setting that shows your abilities at all times, and it'll show your front and your back bar at all times, and you never have to worry about when you bar swap if it shows up or not. So I like it infinitely better. So I'm super glad that he showed me how to do that. I'll have to show you.
Yeah, I don't think other than that, I don't think I've ran into any major bugs or anything.
Yeah.
Have you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, it's
Uh,
fairly polished, I think. It's
yeah.
optimized for sure because I mean, in town you're getting good FPS even though there's 100 other players running around and
Yeah.
in the forest with all the vegetation.
Yeah. It's a
We just
beautiful looking game.
yeah.
The voice chat thing is a little interesting on that, right? Like I was getting some stuff out of my bank in town, and you can hear like 10 different kids talking to each other and stuff like that. And I was like, well, we need to turn that off.
Oh,
And then
Oh,
mine
you
must be off because I've never heard anybody talk in game.
Oh yeah, they're just chatting up a storm, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want my daughters learning new words. We're gonna be shutting that off.
wait, are they using the proximity chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So, and there are people like making trades, like, hey, I'll trade you, some iron ingots for for 2 steel ingots or whatever. What do yeah, I'll do that. Okay, I'll meet you at the whatever, whatever, and so that's interesting, but I'll probably be shutting it off.
That's kind of cool. So, in terms of your Zergling comment, Captain, hey
Mm.
man, if you're complaining about getting Zerg down, like you could just turn it off, and then
It's
now
true.
you're immune to the gangs and stuff. Because honestly, with a game like that, if you're not in a gang, I don't know what you're doing. You know?
So funny story. We were all excited, right? We had like 5 people. We're like, oh, we're gonna go zerg people down, and so we went. We all turned on our PvP. We went out, and then the real zergs showed up. We had like we had
Wow.
opponents with probably I don't even know 20, 30 people in a group, probably 2 different factions, and then they just mowed us over.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
that's hilarious, dude.
I think you and I and Sawman UK and Fragman Saul there for a while. We were trying to make a stand in a building, right? And we were up on the second floor and we were shooting our muskets out the window, and then they're like, okay, they're coming in, and then we made this like heroic last stand that lasted 2 seconds or whatever.
And then it was hilarious because Saul then found out that when you go prone, it removes your name tag, so you can't see like enemies can't see you if you're prone in the grass. So then we're all just crawling around on our bellies like through the grass, trying to get away from the Zerg. I mean, it's good times. It's a lot of fun.
That's
That's
actually kind of smart. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that. You've got that Zerg chasing you. You go up and over the mountaintop. Right when you get to the other side, you just jump prone and then like crawl off to the side and just watch the Zerg run by.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't
That
know.
that that's actually pretty smart too, Grim.
Yeah.
Like you like fake your jump and by going prone right before the cliff, and then just crawl to the side or something.
Yeah.
We just have to outsmart the Zergs. That's it.
Yep. Yep. We got to put down our cold fire trebuchet and hit them. So, that's something Imp was saying, that the fortress battles, you can use the siege there, so that's pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We can't really judge the PvP too harshly yet because we haven't done the sieges.
No, I just made a oh, what are they called? A company. It's called the ESO Expendables. And so I sent invites out to, like Sawman UK, Fragman Saw, and FK just joined our server, Imps on our server, and we'll get a group of somewhere between 5 to 10 people, and then we'll go and try and start taking keeps and doing some of those larger battles and see what that's all about. Yeah. So I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface. If you're running around outside the city just chasing around onesies and twosies trying to kill them, that's probably not the extent of their PvP experience.
Right.
So
Awesome. So, and I'll make a little announcement here. So, if you're part of the Grimsforge Gaming Discord, we did just make a bunch of changes to a lot of the channels, edit some things, remove some things, and since a lot of the guys are playing New World, we do have a New World chat section. So, if you want to join them and play some New World, feel free to check it out down there. And as always, we do put the Discord links in the description below, so feel free to check it out.
yeah. Um let's see. Okay, so ESO, let's talk about your channel first. Um you talked about the content. I really liked when you compared for ESO, you compared the Nernhoned versus Sharpened, and you're comparing these different things in the game. I think that type of testing is super important, very valuable, and so I really like that. I loved your challenge video. Your no weapons ganking. That was really cool. What's your favorite content to do on your channel?
I'm a huge theory crafter anyway. So, I mean, that's where all of I can have millions of gold and spend it instantly because I'm always doing theory crafting, swapping sets, and that kind of thing. So, comparing, a sharp sword versus a Nernhoned Maul is just something that I would be doing anyway, and I love to do it. So, that's probably my favorite content to make is theory crafting videos. I really enjoyed the how-to series too because I got a lot of really good feedback from those people saying like, this video is great, and they didn't know, burst combos. A lot of people, I would say like over 50%, if not more, use the wrong burst combo on Nightblade because of the cast time on in-cap. A lot of people will stun with surprise attack into an in-cap, and it'll be dodged almost every time.
Mhm.
So I go through like in some various videos and stuff about, how to do proper burst combos where your in cap will never be dodged, stuff like that. Those are probably my favorite videos to make. Just things that help the community. That's what I'm really, really about.
When you
Yeah.
do your theory crafting, do you just mostly is it all like in-game type of stuff, and then you test it live, or do you use ESO build editor, some third-party website, something like that, to put your stuff together and then go test it?
Yeah, I always just do it on live, and that's why it costs me so much gold. I've tried it on the PTS before, but it's just really not the same as getting the gear together, getting it all transmuted, and then running into a battleground and giving it a try.
Yeah. You never know how it's going to translate, even from the ESO build editor. You look at it, stats look fine, everything looks fine, then you take it out and you're like, this isn't it. this
Right.
this isn't going to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know for me personally, it's very easy when I can throw things together and then just take a look at the stats, and then I can easily tell, oh yeah, this is gonna work, no problem. But I have my biggest issue when I try something new that I've never done before. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this looks like it's gonna work. I go test it out. This is the worst idea ever. Back to the drawing board.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, it's freaking like I hate. I guess what do people say? Like diversity is the spice of life, or variety is the spice of life. Yeah, f that, dude. I'd rather just do the same thing every single day and be happy, and I'm good.
Yeah.
And then there goes your 100K that you spent on golding your sword or whatever too. Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah. Been there, done that. And I can contest how expensive it is to do builds. So like I was telling people, like my Hulk Smash 3 Stam DK build video cost me over 3 million gold to make that video, So just to get, some people say crap builds, in the comments. So
crap
yeah,
builds. Yeah, those are the
yeah,
best comments. So I like comments like that.
yeah.
Do you
People will
think
come
it's?
in.
Oh, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Captain.
I was gonna say, like, I recently put out a video that has like the hardest hitting ganker I've ever played. I've been playing gankers since like I don't know, a long time ago, a couple years. And I recently put out a build video with the hardest hitting ganker build I've ever played. And then people comment underneath it. They're like, "This isn't hitting very hard." I'm like, well, I don't. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I haven't found anything in the game that hits harder than this. So
Yeah. You know what? I wonder what they're playing on, because I've been noticing this a lot. Just the difference between EU and NA, like the metas and who's wearing what and where. And there's a difference between the metas on PC versus console, like if you're playing on Xbox or PlayStation. So I wonder if that build that you put together, if it just feels or plays differently on the other servers
it's possible. And
or
I
the other.
talked to the guy a little bit to try and help him out. And it turned out that like he was running Red Guard when I recommended Khajiit. It's a crit build, right? So you need Khajiit. He's
Hmm.
running Red Guard when you need, and he was running, the wrong traits on his gear and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's part of the issue. Why
Yeah.
Khajiit is really big on a crit build.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Grims, I know you said that you spent 3 mil for your what was it Hulk Smash? You said.
Hmm. Yeah. Or the Thanos, three different stamina necromancer builds, and then I've got 3 different werewolf builds, and each one of them was really expensive videos.
Yeah, so I guess for both of you guys, how important do you think it is when you're testing stuff out to have it gold as opposed to having it purple? Or because for me personally, for my body pieces, if I'm testing stuff, I just I make it purple, and then for jewelry, I will honestly keep it blue. All right, and then for my weapons, I'll usually gold those out just because it's just one item, so it's not really that big of a deal. But how important do you guys think it is to have it gold out for testing, or if it matters
So
or not?
to have your weapons gold is huge.
Hmm.
To have your gear gold is not huge. Asian God, he made a comparison video between purple gear and gold gear, and it was only a 1% damage difference between the body pieces. Purple. Monster set is more important to have gold, but your weapons is the most important thing to have gold. You can't be running around with purple weapons.
Yeah. And I think in that same video, he also talked about the difference between blue jewelry versus purple jewelry versus gold jewelry. And each jewelry has a significant jump in damage. Like if you were running infused on each one of those, because it goes from 42% to 50% to 60%, something like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, per jewelry piece. And so that's where the bulk of your whatever is. I only gold gear out as a reward, kind of a reward too. Like if I have a build that I just really like, I love the build, I don't plan on changing it. Mandalorian was one of those. I'll gold it out, you
that
know.
brings us back to our conversation though earlier about like why bother golding out? Like it's a million to gold at one piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
So why spend 3 million gold on jewelry when it's just going to change in a
Yeah.
month?
Well, yeah, that's a perfect Crusader. Nobody ever used that set. I use that set, love that set, double your dodge roll window. Heck yeah, and other people that saw the Mando videos, they were like, dude, that set looks pretty cool. I never thought about that. Double your dodge roll window. I'm like, if stealth's working properly, they'll only see me for a small window, and that small window I'm dodge rolling, so they can't even hit me when they can see me. And so that makes that play style able to box very well and fight outnumbered very well. And they're changing the set completely. Now I'm going to have a gold set of something completely different. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, from what I was saying earlier, in those moments where, yeah, I use my transmutation crystals to craft my set, gold gear, whatever. I still have to spend the plating to gold it out. And if they make it useless now, well, yeah, I'll get my crystals back, no problem. But 12 plating, and I'm only gonna get 3 grains back. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna be upset about that.
Do you guys think they should do something about the cost of upgrading jewelry? Should
Uh,
they?
so when you say that, can you be a little bit more specific in terms of like what
So
you
it's
would
like
want to
1
see?
million gold right now to upgrade from purple to gold for like a necklace, right?
Mhm.
So do you think they should make it like where it costs less mats to upgrade to gold, or maybe where the resource is more abundant or something?
Well, so I think the only reason why the jewelry stuff is so expensive is because it's kind of new, right? Compared to when everything else was released. Jewelry came, I think, in the Somerset DLC or
That's
the
what I
Elsewhere.
thought, but the price never really seemed to change.
I mean, it is a hot commodity, right? How long has from the from the from when the base game was released, how long has it been until Somerset was released? Like a couple of years, right? Like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years or whatever. So you have 4 to 5 years of people building up stashes of rosin, tempering alloy, dreg wax, all the other crafting skill lines, right? Backlogs of materials saved up, and now I guess Somerset came out like 2 years ago, probably, or something like that, and it's pretty new. So to me, it makes sense that it would still be rare, and for that reason, the price is always going to be sky high every single time,
yeah,
because since the dawn of its release, it's it's always been hot, and the price has honestly never gone down. So
yeah. So like Captain said, you could probably make the grains a little bit easier to come by, through mining. Make them increase the drop rate on chance, the RNG of them or something to that effect, to where they're a little bit less rare than they are now, and you should see the price lower with
yeah,
I
that,
mean,
right?
because I don't even bother putting out builds that have 2 crafted sets for that very reason. I don't expect someone to spend hundreds of thousands on trying to upgrade their jewelry. So I think that really hinders the theory crafting, right? You can't run 2 crafted sets because of the cost of jewelry just to craft it.
Yeah.
and then even I guess the traits too, right? If you're running the Arubic Amber, I think that's like 30-40K a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you start out playing ESO on PC, or did you start out on console?
I've always been on PC. I tried like a Steam machine, so basically on my TV, but with a console controller. I couldn't do it. I went straight back to mouse and keyboard. I don't know how people play on controller. I can't do it.
Yeah, I play mouse and keyboard. I can't play controller.
Should I be offended by these comments?
Are you a controller player?
Heck yeah, man. I
Oh,
cannot, dude, I cannot stand mouse and keyboard, while playing ESO. I think when I first started playing, I was on the mouse and keyboard for about a week or two, and then I realized, hey, can I get my PS4 controller to work on this? And then I figured it out, and I was like, oh heck yeah, I'm never going back. And then I think I was using some third-party software to make the connection happen, and then I realized, you know what, I don't have an Xbox. Let me just buy a controller for a system I don't have and just run it on my computer. And I've been using a 360 controller ever since.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a like an MMO mouse. So all my buttons are on the side of my mouse, all of my abilities. are on the side of my mouse. I don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the keyboard. I only use keyboard for movement, and that's it. And even my roll dodge is on my mouse as well. So pretty
Yeah.
much everything on my mouse.
That's one of the first quality of life changes for a lot of the people that come to me for PvP training is we talk about, hey, you need to get an MMO mouse or a programmable mouse so you can move your abilities to the mouse. So that way your left hand, assuming your right hand mouse, your left hand is just used for mobility, and your right hand's used for abilities and looking around. And once you make that change, because they're like, I can always spot these people too when they're doing battlegrounds and stuff because they'll stop moving and cast abilities. It's hard for them to do both at the same time, right? Like, how
Yeah.
am I going to be pressing A, W, and D when I'm also pressing 1, 2, and 3? So that's one of the easiest quality life changes for PvPers, for new players. So
Yeah, I heard. I think Mio Millennial or Mio Crits or our buddy Imp. I know they have a new keybind layout for people that were still running the normal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have a new setup just to make it a little bit easier on your left hand. That is a little bit more conducive to being a productive, contributing PvP member.
mm,
I'm always curious too, like what people do for their roll dodge. I remove double tap to dodge because I can't stand that. And then I bind roll dodge to my middle mouse button.
mm.
So then if you want to roll dodge like to the left, you push A and middle mouse button, and it'll roll dodge you to the left. Or if you want to roll dodge backwards, S and middle mouse button.
Mm.
It's
I
worth a
know.
try. If you haven't tried it, try it. The
Yeah,
double tap to roll dodge is terrible. You fall off keep walls and all sorts of stuff doing that.
I know that Grim Hollow does the same thing. He's got roll dodge set up, to the mouse too. I have my bar swap set up as my middle mouse button, but
I think you guys have the break free, like for your mouse wheel scroll up or something.
No,
yeah,
mine's just right and left click same time. I don't know. That's a default, I think, right?
yeah. So yeah, that's the default. Grim Hollow pointed this out. He said, I don't have break free problems usually. And it's because I have scroll down on my mouse wheel as break free, and every single, like in one swoop or one downstroke, it'll potentially break free like 10 times, pop, 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 pop.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so he doesn't have a problem breaking free. It's just a real quick swipe down and all of those. Also, another thing along those same lines, if you're running a bash crow, um, change your bash to mouse wheel scrolling down or scrolling up,
Oh,
and
wait, no way, dude. You serious?
you can rapid fire bash just bop, 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 bop. Yep.
Oh
So,
boy.
Wow, that's actually freaking nuts,
Don't
dude.
release this to the public now.
yeah. Yeah, so bash crows, you can set your bash up to just be automatic fire, just craziness on your mouse wheel. Yep.
That's funny.
Good lord, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this part of the episode out.
And stash it away in a secret vault.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, that's funny.
So, at what point did you decide to start making content?
I used to be very casually making content. So my YouTube's been up for years, but I would throw up, a ganker video here and there, maybe once every month, once every few months. I've only recently become serious about getting on a schedule and posting at least once a week, if not twice a week. So
That's
within the
awesome.
last few months, I've started posting once a week, usually
Yeah.
twice a week, but
I like your logo. It's really well done.
thanks.
Did you follow any other content creators? Were you like watching them and you're like, man, that's awesome. I can do that, or I want to do that.
Um, yeah, I was watching a lot on Nexi. He's a Nightblade main as well. Um, it's like when I used to watch skateboarding videos too. Whenever I watch any of that, I just want to go play. I want to go make like videos and stuff and do the same thing. But yeah, Nexi was like huge for me to get started into making videos, and then Nolan Kirchhoff, he's one of my favorite YouTubers and streamers. Guys like that. I like a lot of 1vx channels. Yeah.
Do you have a preferred like editing software that you like to use?
I use Shotcut at the moment. I mean, it's free and it's what I know, and I'm sure there's better ones out there, but it gets the job done.
I don't think I've ever heard of Shotcut.
Somebody else posted. Who was it? I think it was Sawman. Sawman posted a screenshot in chat the other day about when he was editing his 5K sub video, and I was like, "That's totally." He's using Shotcut too.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see Sawman doing that too.
Shotcut's great. Give it a try. I mean, you guys probably have paid software, right? But
I use Wondershare Filmora, so mine is paid, but I think Grim's still slumming it.
what are you using, Grim?
I'm using HitFilms Express, and it's a free software. But then, if you want to add any bells and whistles in, you can specifically pay for whatever effect you're looking for, and only purchase that additional like plugin.
Oh,
Right?
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. The whole left side of the screen when you first log in has just anything and everything you've ever wanted to do in videos. And then each one of them has a tutorial attached to it, so you can figure out, like if I wanted to take a screenshot of Icy and you know, have his eyes frosted over, or have his hand up in the air and have icicles forming on it. There's a plugin that allows you to add that effect to videos and stuff, and so it's pretty cool. Yeah, Hit Films Express, it's 100% free, and they do take donations, but you can
That's awesome.
download.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a try. You should check out Shotcut though too. I think it's full. It has all features that you need. It's got chroma key. It's got effects. Everything.
Hmm.
Pretty
I'll have to
cool.
look at it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you've been taking a guild out. Can you tell us about your guild and the people you run with? You've been taking a guild out to Cyrodiil, and has some PvP training been happening with that? What's been going on with the guild?
Yeah, so I'm an officer in Army of the Covenant or a DC no CP guild. We pretty much are DC no CP on PCNA. Um, yeah, so lately I've been working with a unit called Scouts. So we're like a unit of Nightblades, and we go around behind enemy lines, false flagging keeps to divert enemies and stuff like that. We're rolling around inside. We're the annoying Nightblades that you can never get out of the keep after you flip it. Um, and then we've also been working on another unit that's kind of more like a ball group unit, and that's it's fairly new to us. We have other ball groups within the guild, but our particular unit is new to ball groups, and we had our first run on Friday with all of our new sets and stuff, and it actually went really good. We were, like 4-1 or 1-4, like 4 AD per one of us, and we were fighting Zergs with it, and it was great. But
What's the ball group consist of? Because I think maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, I was actually running a couple days with the ball group. They were looking to recruit me for their healers, and everyone and their mothers got Procstat on, and the guy has it very structured. Where okay, I want you running this guy's running this, you're running that, and then it's very organized. It's a very organized process. So um, I'm not sure how much you know about how you guys are running, but can you shed some light on
yeah,
your
so I mean, it's just like that. We have secret builds for every role. We've got a certain amount of healers, certain amount of damage dealers. Everybody synergizes with everything else. So we made sure to pay attention where we've got all the covered major buffs, all the covered minor buffs, pretty much everything you need to keep 100% uptime on everything. And I know it's hard to explain without giving out to like too much of our secrets, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I gotcha.
yeah, we try to harmonize really well. Basically, everybody synergizes with everybody else.
So I don't think this would be a secret, but is everyone using Proxtet?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
it's broken. It's broken. There's no reason why not to use it.
yeah. So do you think that can you run a ball group that isn't using Proxtet, do you think? Or you think that's a like does a pro what's that phrase? It's like if your a ball group has prox I can't even think of the phrasing now, but can you be in a ball group and not have Proxtet? That'll be my
You
question.
can, yeah, but I don't know why you would want to because even a healer wearing using Proxdet can get like a 20k proc on it. You know, it
Right.
scales off how many people are around you. So if you've got a full group of people and you call when to proxy up, so then everybody explodes at the same time. You know, and if it's a large group that you're in, then it could be 20k proximity detonation per
Right.
person who's wearing it. So
Do you guys use the RDK add-on?
we do, yeah, we use synergy prevention too, so only certain people can grab synergies in group, so that way we don't have accidental people grabbing synergies.
Oh, okay. I didn't know synergy prevention was actually an add-on. That actually sounds pretty
It's
neat.
part of
Okay.
RDK, yeah, and then RDK
Oh,
is
okay.
yeah, it's also huge for like staying on crown. RDK is really good because it gives you that beam that comes out of your head.
Yeah, yep. I think there's another add-on like Lights of Meridia. That's what I call it. But
Same, yeah, I
yeah, the
think it does
beam.
the same thing.
Yeah, yep, same thing. So for dude, freaking RDK. Oh my god. So when they introduced me to that, game changer, dude. Oh my goodness, man. Like Grim, you know that add-on that we used to use, the one that just enlarges the crown so you can see where they're at?
Yeah, crown modifier.
Yeah, dude, that sucks. Okay, this RTK tool, dude. I guess the way we have it set up, or the group I was running with, they had it set up. There's like literally a green circle, bright green dot on the guy who has crown. Okay, it is so easy to spot where this guy is. Okay, and
Yeah,
just listen to call outs and do whatever. Oh my goodness, like it's a game changer. It really
it's
is.
even got like options where you can have an arrow that points on your screen to where your the person with crown is,
Yes, 100%. Oh my goodness, dude.
and it
Because
changes colors based on how close you are. If you're green, if you're close enough, it's green. Once you start getting far away, it turns red and lets you know that you're too far away from crown.
yeah. Grim, like you need to check that add-on out because I know when in the past or over the last year or whatever, whenever we've been down in the sewers and stuff, I know I guess like one of our big issues is when we got like multiple guys with us is target selection.
Mhm.
So when we're saying hey the healer's over here, let's kill him, whatever, we got Tom, Dick, and Harry all over the place, and we're all fighting our own battles for the most part. But if we
Right.
all had this RDK tool, then oh man, it would change so many battles for
Yeah.
sure. Just
It's
having
not.
that organization.
It's not going to help me much because while you guys are over there killing all the different people or whatever, I'm over here looting the mobs. You know, you know this.
You just triggered me.
I was thinking about like someone needs to write an add-on. I don't know if this would be considered overpowered or not though, but where someone needs to write an add-on where when person with crown tab targets someone,
Mhm.
everybody in group can see who they tab targeted.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I don't know if it would be overpowered or not though. It might be borderline broken.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. There's add-ons right now that tell you who's targeting you with a ranged attack and tells you when to dodge roll, and they could be doing it.
What?
Yeah, there's an add-on that does that. I forgot what it is. Um, Papa could tell you what it is. He doesn't use it, but he he was, yeah. So you ever wonder, you got someone dead to rights, you're in stealth and you line up a snipe or line up a whatever, and they just dodge roll at the perfect time. They're running that add-on. So
Interesting.
yeah. What's your thoughts with your ball group or with your group of people right now for the changes to Cyrodiil with the no proc? Are you guys excited about that? Not excited about that?
Personally, I like no proc because I feel like it takes skill to kill people instead of having a proc set do the damage for you.
Mhm.
And I was a huge fan of the last no proc, and I really enjoyed it. It was more skill based combat instead of having Calorian's Legacy hit someone for 10k for you.
Mhm.
But as far as in the guild, we have a lot of mixed feelings. Everybody has a lot of mixed feelings. So we'll end up probably, since we main no CP, and that's where no proc is also going to be, and no hammer for whatever reason. Um, we're probably just going to leave it up to a vote and let everybody decide if they want to move over to. We're not going to go to the main CP campaign just because of the lag, and nobody likes that. So we would probably go to like Black Reach or something instead. Just play like one of the smaller CP campaigns. But
Yeah.
personally, I like no proc, but it sounds to me a lot like people in my guild enjoy the procs. So there's probably a big chance that we're going to be leaving Raven Watch and going over to Black Reach.
Yeah. I find myself, I put together builds that utilize procs or utilize conditional proc sets and stuff like that. But the more I play, the more I don't like the changes to CP, I guess. It's not that I don't like the changes. I don't like the power creep, and the power creep in the game is, I think we're at a tipping point right now where people are just dying super fast, and they're going to try and offset that with all the additional damage mitigation. Hopefully it works and there's a good balance right now. I think no matter what's going on in the game, you're always going to run into the people that you can't kill. They build tanky and they know how to play or whatever. But I think there needs to be a balance there somewhere. I don't know if it takes a blanket change like the battle spirit passive change, or if it takes actually addressing the individual classes that are the problems. And so I don't know. I think that I might be going to no CP and just solely play no CP. I do most of my build testing and everything in Imperial City for CP purposes. And I do most of my build testing in Battlegrounds for no CP because it's very easy to get to fights. I just really like where no CP's at right now. And if you're telling me that I'm not going to get hit with Venomous Smite and a bunch of silly stuff, and it's going to force a little bit more skilled PvP, then no CP might be where I'm at full time. I don't know. What about you, IC? What do you think about that? No CP, no proc.
I'm indifferent, I guess, at the end of the day because, like with my playstyle and how I like to, build my healers and stuff, procs or no procs, I'm still good. I'm still gonna be able to do my job, right? I
Yeah.
won't be able to run Curse Eater, on all my other characters, but that's okay. I guess I'll just start running more Necros and Templars, so we have that purify for the team. So
Yeah.
and they are introducing a little bit more sets now, the second time around. So that'll be, I guess, nice. But at the end of the day, probably just still stick with something generic and baseline just to get the job done, right? So
Yeah.
But I
and
don't really understand the reason behind the changes. They say that time to kill is too short, but right now, to me, it feels balanced. You need a damage reduction set because time to kill is high and damage is high. And then you need a damage set, and then or a sustain set. So a damage resistance, a sustain, and then you can either get your weapon damage from your jewelry and your mundus, or you can go resistance set, damage set, and then get your sustain right now from your jewelry and mundus. So to me, right now, it seems balanced. Next patch, it's going to be you're getting your damage reduction. It's just there. So you're either going to be running, 2 damage sets, or I don't know. To me, it feels balanced at the moment, so I don't really see the reason for the changes.
I think it's only the outliers. It's the extremes, right? It's the the bombers that are only hitting one target and nuking them, like
Yeah, but why don't
annihilating
they
them.
just take care of that? Like nerf proxy
Exactly.
that or something. They
Exactly.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. If you took the top performers and burst, like if we interviewed 1,000 people and said, what's hitting the hardest right now? And then you took everyone's answers and you went through and looked at it, we would probably see a lot of the same thing. They'd say, you shouldn't be able to get bombed by somebody. I'm by myself and I get bombed. I got hit for 20K by a bomber. Just the proc stat hit me for 20K.
Yeah.
And I was on cap resistances on Spartan. Cap resistances and got hit for 20K. It was 20K, 8K, and 8K.
Bombers have
Like,
always been broken, but the thing is, like, you only used to see a bomber maybe once a night, and it was funny. You'd be at a resource, you'd get bombed, like, oh, that was a nice bomb. You wouldn't see another bomber for the rest of the night. But now it's like every time you're sieging a keep, you're getting hit by 3, 4 bombers on the, every time.
mhm,
So I think that's why, because there's so many bombers, and that's why they're nerfing it. But they don't need to nerf all of ESO. They just need to nerf proximity detonation. I don't know, soul tether maybe. I don't know.
right. Yeah, because if you look at how those two work with mechanical acuity, right, it's problematic. So I think that's a problem. And then the other thing would be the desyncing issues from like overload, magnum shot, and um, flame clench. Leap when it works, it desyncs people, and it's usually abilities that change the location of a character, like the knockback or whatever, or knock up. So I don't know. I think that I might spend a lot of time in no CP. I like battlegrounds, and if I can go to no CP Cyrodiil and not have to face proc sets, then that'll be kind of cool. And like Icy said, if they're opening up the build diversity a little bit, introducing more no CP allowed sets, that sounds kind of fun to me. So
Yeah, and I feel the same way. It's just I'll just have to go wherever the guild goes, but it's there's probably 3 or 4 times as many sets as they had in the no proc test. So there's
yeah.
still going to be build diversity. It's just they removed some sets that I feel like were unnecessary. New Moon's not in there for whatever reason.
Mm,
Um, but the ones that shouldn't be in there, Calorian's Legacy, Vicious Death, all of that is gone.
yeah. Yeah, I know New Moon they had kind of they have it marked as a proc set, because of the 5%, whatever. And it's kind of weird. It shouldn't be a proc set at all. It's just how they're coding, how they have it set up. So, and what they should do to make themselves for the future, they should, every new set that's implemented to the game should be marked appropriately, moving forward. So that way they don't have to go back and do this huge armor set audit, especially when I don't even know how many armor sets are in the game right now, but it's a lot. So, and the only time they should have to do like an armor set audit is the top 10% performers, when people, and maybe Crusader fell into that. Maybe that's exactly what happened. You know, I'm the only one out there using Crusader, and a couple people that watched the Mando videos, and they're like, okay, well, we need to make this set more viable. So here's the change to it. So,
Yeah.
but
What do you think about Grim? The addition of doing no procs for no CP IC? Because I know we expect Cyrodiil, that's fine, but now they're bringing it over to Imperial City, no CP.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That's fine. Now I can go back home. I don't have to go to Cyrodiil to not run into the cheese. I'm sure guys like Nolan Kirchhoff will be happy with that too, because he'll be out there and he'll be like, what is this greasy, cheesy build that, what are you doing? And so he hates that, and he hates running into werewolves and stuff. So, but
He's the
yeah,
best to watch. And his streams are always great. he's trying to 1vx and he's fighting like massive groups.
Yeah, I like Nolan. Yeah, he's pretty funny, and he's out there every freaking night. So, okay, so do you have any topics for us or any questions for us?
No, I don't think so. I feel like we had good conversation today.
Okay. I'll see you on New World. We'll run around and kill some people and get into some big battles. And I'm going to be joining you in Cyrodiil hopefully at some point, whether it's on our Night Blades or I'll just run alongside your ball group and cheer you guys on.
Yeah, we always have spots. I mean, sometimes people can't make it, so maybe if ball group is something you're interested in, I can always send you one of the builds for you to put together, and you could run with us one night. Might be fun.
Yeah, I would have to put it. I only have on DC, I think I've got Steve Rogers, which is a Stamplar, and I've got Tony Stark, which is a Magplar. So it would have to be something in those Stamplar or Magplar. But
Yeah, we've got a Magplar in group. I could send you the build for if you're interested.
yeah, that might be fun.
Cool.
I haven't put Tony Stark's build together yet because of the left turn, right turn, everything. But I know that if it goes live, I already know what I'm going to be using next patch, and it's just completely broken. So, where
You
can
ta-
everyone?
Were
Go
you
ahead.
talking about the 34K tooltip, Grim?
Yeah, I'm gonna run that build on. Tony Stark. So there's a funny video. So in the build video, right at the beginning of that, I'll just tell you guys now. If you go back to Iron Man 1, and he's talking to the military guys that are thinking about purchasing his missiles, right? The Jericho. And, he just says, I prefer a weapon that you only have to fire once. And that's the way my dad did it. That's the way America does it. And so with those tooltips, you will only have to fire those weapons once. Yeah.
Dude, I feel like this would be the uh, like the next level upgrade for Valkorin.
Yeah, I do need to bring Valkorian back. So
Yeah, because honestly, so obviously I know you have an ESO build editor. You should just, and I think that was a Templar, right?
Valkorian.
Oh no, the one where you took the screenshots.
Oh yeah, that was Templar.
Yeah, honestly, you should just like make 5 more of those, just for each class, just to see, if it could be viable or not. You know, so
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be really curious to see how it works on a Templar, but I already know it would slap on a Sork easy.
Yeah, it'd be a little scary because okay, so that build to get those tooltips on there, it's almost 14k spell damage. So
Well,
yeah, it's 14k spell damage. On Valkorian, I was hitting 8 and 9k spell damage. So imagine hitting 5k spell damage more. So yeah, pretty scary. That's what I fear is that I fear the power creep. There's no way in the world 8k a year ago was a reach. Like, how do you even get 8k spell damage? And now
Yeah,
I'm hitting 13k, 14k spell damage. That's stupid. So
insane.
yeah.
dude, I remember when we were in the sewers and some guy, I think we were running away from a Zerg, and then one guy caught up to us, and then he was just like, I've never seen a character get deleted, logged out from the sewers before. Oh my
No.
god.
Yeah, I just turned around and I was like, overload, crushing shock, and he just blew up.
Oh no.
Dude, and it's so funny because it's like the one person who keeps up. It's usually like a Sork character, and he's like running and gunning like a young teenager. Think he's like all like the hot stuff, whatever. Deleted from existence. Oh my god! I think I
Yeah.
remember you saying,
Right.
"Oh, guy came in. All right, he's gone." Like all in like the span of like less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that's 8k spell damage. So 13, 14k is gonna be pretty scary. So
Oh man, I can't wait. That's gonna be fun.
yeah. So Captain, YouTube, obviously you're there. Are you on Twitch also? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Where else can we find you?
Just YouTube at the moment, and then I'm going to start a Discord here pretty soon, so the community can suggest different video ideas for YouTube. So, and then eventually I'll probably do some streaming on YouTube or Twitch, but at the moment it's just YouTube.
That's awesome. What about what are the best ways for people to help you out right now, outside of subscribing? Do you have a tip jar? Do you have Patreon? Do you have merchandise?
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just there to put videos out for the community, and so the only way that you guys can help me out is just come check out the channel, and if you like it, just subscribe and maybe share it with your friends. That's my whole goal behind this, is just building stuff and helping the community. So
That's awesome. We're gonna see some cool ball group clips on your channel as well. Yeah.
eventually, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, it's
Without
just
giving
Nightblade.
out too much. You don't want to give out too much of the secret sauce.
Exactly, and then everybody will be running it.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Hey, man, more competition.
It's true.
Yeah. That's all I got. What about you, Icy?
Cool. So I think we have a couple of announcements. So I think I mentioned halfway through the podcast, we did make changes to the Discord server. So once you join, you will have to just react to a role to get access to the rest of it. And we cleaned it up, made it a little bit more professional now, thanks to Admin Bleach, I like to call him now. So shout out to him. And the second thing is, of course, as always, we are on Anchor. So if you want to just get an audio only version of this podcast, you can go there. There's always a link in the description below. And the third part, we have now, as part of the Discord cleanup, we did now introduce a staging area for the podcast. So as we're recording live, you can also listen in live if you choose to, and just kind of check it out. We haven't added anything where you guys could talk back to us while we're doing the live show, whatever. That wasn't really the intention. But if you want to just listen live whenever you see us in the Discord, yeah, feel free to hop in the staging area and check us out. I think we saw Fragman Saul and Sawman down there, so that was pretty cool. So, and I think that is it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.
See ya.
Captain, you can say bye.
Bye. See you guys later.
You're gonna say bye-bye, Argonians.
Bye bye, Rogonian.